Hello dear professor, my name is Atabek Shakirov and today I will present my topic, economic inequality as a threat to the democratic ideals. It's the 16th topic in the list because I am in the number of the 16th attendance list. In this presentation I will explain what economic inequality is and how large economic gaps between the citizens and it can be influenced to the democratic and the political power in the world. Also, in the introduction, the economic inequality refers to the unequal distribution of the income and the opportunities in society as well. Also, today's the gap between the rich and the poor growing in many countries, especially in the Central Asia. And from my perspective, this is important because the democracy is based on the equality, I think. Also, when the wealth becomes very concentrated, and the political power may also become concentrated to her, or maybe, and this can be weaken the democratic principle of the one person, one vote. And in the next slide, what is the economic inequality? And economic inequality can be explained through the income and the wealth. And the income is the money people can earn, such as the wages or the salaries, and the wealth refers to the assets people own, such as the houses, savings, the investments, or maybe the cars and that kind of stuff. And in many modern economies, the top 1% owns a very large share of the wealth, and while the bottom of the half owns much less. And this shows how large the economic gaps between them. And core democratic ideals. The democracy is built on the several important values. As I'm not mistaken, the first is the political equality, and which means every citizen should have an equal voice. The vote. Also, the second is the freedom of speech, which allows people to express their opinions. Especially some countries, they has a freedom of speech, but they don't have the freedom after the speech. And democracy also requires the representation and the participation, meaning governments should represent all citizens, and all should actively participate in the politics. For example, the voting, the mayor, maybe the president or the vice president in the country, or in the mahalla, I think. And the link between the inequality and the democracy. Economic inequality can affect democracy in many ways. According to the resource theory, the political participation requires resources such as money and education, and also the time. And the people who have the more resources often have more influence in politics. For example, when wealth becomes concentrated, political influence may also become concentrated. In extreme cases, this can lead to the system as similar to the plutocracy or the rule by the wealthy. As I'm not mistaken, it the causes for some people the system, the similar or the rule by the wealthy, and the impact on the political participation. Income inequality can also affect political participation. The people with a lower income often vote the less frequently. Sometimes they feel their voices are not heard in the politics, and this can create the trust gap between the citizens and the government institutions. And when many people feel the system is unfair, they may become politically designated. They lose their hope. And the influence on the policy making. Economic inequality can also influence the government policies. Wealthy individuals and the corporations often have a greater access to the politicians through the lobbying and the campaign donations. Because the modern elections are expensive and the candidates may depend on the wealth donors, and this can sometimes lead to policies that favor to the interest of the rich groups rather than the general population. And the social consequences. High inequality can also create the social problem. The large economic gaps can cause frustration, protests, and political polarization. And when different social classes live very different lives, it becomes harder to them to understand each other. This can weaken cooperation and the democratic discussion in the society. And when it comes to real world examples, there are several real examples of inequality affecting the democracy. In the United States, there are debates about the influence of the super PACs and the political donations in the elections. In Latin America, high inequality has sometimes contributed to the political instability and the populist movements. These examples show that the economic inequality can influence political system. Also, the possible solutions. There are several ways to the government can reduce the economic inequality. One solution is the progressive taxation, where the higher income groups pay the higher taxes. Another solution is investing in the education and the healthcare, which can create the equal opportunities to them. And the political reforms, such as the campaign and the finance regulations, can also reduce influence of the money in the politics. In the conclusion, economic inequality is not only the economic issues but also the challenge for democracy. When wealth becomes extremely concentrated, it can affect the political participation, policy decisions, and the trust in the institutions. From a perspective, reducing the inequality is important to protect democratic values and ensure fairness in the political system. And here is a reference list. You can go through them and check. And thank you, professor, for your attention.